Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Buffalo Sports Center video. I am Don, and today we are going to preview an absolutely ecstatic and crazy matchup between the 2-1 Buffalo Bills and the undefeated Miami Dolphins. What a game, what a matchup this is going to be, taking place in Orchard Park in Week 4 here in the 2023 NFL season. Before I get to the preview, though, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. You will want to, especially when I live stream this game this weekend. But anyways, folks, let's get to the preview. And let's start off by talking about the best offense in the NFL right now. Yes, that is Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. Gosh, what an offensive unit they have proven to be over the first 3 weeks of this NFL season. On Sunday, they put up, oh my goodness, 70. Yes, 70 points against the Broncos. This offense played arguably the most dominant offensive performance in NFL history, outside of maybe a couple performances in the 60s and early 70s, back when the NFL was a much different game. But in modern times, this was as big of a win as you can possibly imagine. Yes, they were a field goal away, the Dolphins were, from tying the NFL record for points. They did break the NFL record for total yardage on offense in a single game, which was 726 yards. Tua was absolutely phenomenal. He went 23 for 26 for 309 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. But that amazingly only accounted for half of their total yardage of that aforementioned 726 yards that they got on Sunday. A lot of the extra yardage, of course, came from the run game, which was insane and absolutely insane. A lot of the yardage came from rookie running back drafted in the 3rd round, Devon Achane. Dolphins fans, let me know how you pronounce it in the comments section down below. He had 18 carries for 203 yards, and he also caught an incredible no-look shovel pass from Tua for their 3rd touchdown of the game. Raheem Mostert is the other half to this two-headed running back monster, and he had 82 yards on 13 carries. His speed, along with Tyreek Hill, who was on full display on Sunday, and it is also the Dolphins' strongest part of their game, their speed is. Their offense is built or predicated around speed. Speed. Through all of their playmakers, through all of their decision-making, through their play calling as well, coming from Mike McDaniels. Everything is about speed and efficiency, and they have executed that to perfection through the first 3 weeks. They can throw deep, they can throw short and efficient, and their screen game is one of the best I have seen since Tom Brady perfected it a couple years ago. And not just a couple years ago, over the last 20-something years that he was in the NFL. And you know what? I haven't mentioned him yet, but Tyreek Hill has been arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL through this first month of the season. He caught 9 passes for 157 yards against Denver, which puts him up to a total of 255 reception yards in 3 games this season. 255 yards. That is insane. His slickness, his speed, his dynamism, they are all crazy good. And by the way, Miami did this all without their wide receiver too, Jalen Waddle, who is still overcoming the effects of a concussion suffered in week 2. But overall, this offense is insane. They are the definition of crazy good. It is going to be a wonder how this historically good Bills defense is going to stop them. And yes, I did say historic because the Bills defense has been absolutely cracking this season. Just like the Dolphins on offense, the Bills on defense have been very good. And that was evident on Sunday when they absolutely shut down Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders. Now, the player of that game was middle linebacker Terrell Bernard. If you don't know who he is, you better know now, because Terrell Bernard had himself a game. He got an interception, 2 sacks, and a fumble recovery on Sunday. And if he hasn't, at the time of this recording, they haven't released who the defensive player of the week is for the East and West, but absolutely for the East, it should be, for the AFC, it should be Terrell Bernard. He was everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And so was the defensive line, who really pressured the heck out of Howell. They got 8 sacks as well on Sunday, with a lot coming from Leonard Floyd, a lot coming from Daquan Jones, a lot coming from Ed Oliver, AJ Epinesa, Greg Rousseau. They all got a ton of sacks. It was so clear. And this defensive line has been doing it without Von Miller. Yes, they've been doing this without Von Miller. So it is clear that while this Bills defense has been really, really good to start off the season, they can be even better, although Von Miller will not be playing this Sunday against the Dolphins. Now, in the last 2 games against the Raiders and against the Commanders, the Bills have only given up 13 points, 1 touchdown, and 2 field goals. That's it. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they match up against the Miami Dolphins this weekend. And Sean McDermott said in his presser on Monday, he said that he doesn't even know where to start on how to draw up schemes to stop this insane and explosive Dolphins offense. But if anybody can, and if anybody has been proven that they could, it is the Bills defense. But the Bills offense will also have a huge saying as to whether or not the Bills actually win this game or whether or not the Dolphins win this game. Statistically, Josh Allen had a very unspectacular game on Sunday, throwing 20 for 32 for 218 yards, getting a touchdown pass, and another interception. And you know what? They still won because Josh Allen no longer has to be Superman for the Bills to win. The Bills' running game has been very good over the last 2 weeks, and that's mainly because of the efforts of James Cook, who against the Raiders in Week 2 had 123 rushing yards, and against the Commanders, he had 98. He has been as good as advertised, and before the season, I said many times that I thought James Cook could be a breakout candidate, and it's looking like that is actually happening. We thought Devin Singletary could be a top running back in the league. He wasn't. James Cook, over these last 2 weeks, have shown Bills fans and the NFL that, yes, maybe he could be a really, really good running back. And that is a huge plus for a Bills offense that has been much more balanced than in the last couple of years. And that also is helped because the Bills offensive line, with additions of O'Cyrus Torrence and Connor McGovern, have been really good. They have been playing some sound football. They definitely neutralized Max Crosby in Week 2, and they absolutely silenced Washington's vaunted defensive line last week. Allen did not get sacked a single time in Week 3, which is absolutely crazy considering the state of the offensive line last year. Behind Cook as well, and I will bring it back to the running backs a little bit, the Bills have some short yardage, efficient guys with Damian Harris and Latavius Murray, each of whom won't really put up a very eye-popping box score stat if you are a stat scout like some people are, maybe me, kind of. But if you actually watch their games, they do what they are supposed to do in this offense. And now, Allen, I mentioned he did not throw all that spectacular on Sunday, but that didn't stop Stefon Diggs from having another 100-yard game and Gabe Davis from having another long touchdown reception. On Sunday, Stefon Diggs had 8 more catches for a further 111 yards, and Gabe Davis, like I mentioned, will be looking for more involvement in the offense despite getting that large touchdown reception. This offense will need to be big because the Dolphins' defense will be hungry and eager to once again stop Josh Allen. They did it last year in Week 3 down in Miami. They limited Josh Allen to only 17 offensive points. The Bills got 19 because of a late game safety, but punt or whatever. On paper, it wasn't ideal for the Dolphins unit as they gave up 363 total yards on defense to Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. But most importantly, they only gave up 13 points. So this is clear. They bent but did not break. And that has been their key all season. That is how they won against the Los Angeles Chargers. Despite giving up 34 points, it could have been more, but this defense bent but didn't break. And that again happened against the Patriots in Week 2, and it happened again against Denver in Week 3. Christian Wilkins always seems to be in the middle of things when he's up in Buffalo. Xavier Howard is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Javon Holland is crazy too, and Emmanuel Ogbah partnering with Christian Wilkins on that defensive line is really, really good. And another really underrated linebacker, in my opinion, he was big in that Patriots win in Week 2, and that was Andrew Van Ginkel. So Andrew Van Ginkel is a really underrated linebacker that Bills fans need to know because he could have a huge impact on this game. And you know what? I didn't even mention Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. This defense is teeming with playmakers, and it's going to be very interesting to see if they can finally stop Allen, both through the air and with his legs on Sunday. So, with all of that out of the way, here is what our BSE panel, including Dolphins fan at Finn's Latest, you can find him on Instagram at Finn's Latest, is predicting for this insane matchup between the Miami Dolphins and Buffalo Bills in Week 4 of the 2023 NFL season.
Down. There it is. On the backside. Allen with pressure in his face. Throwing back in the end zone. It's Dawson Knox with the touchdown. But they're going to get pressure. He's got to get this ball out quick. He's just going to run it. Josh Allen leaping.